cooking soul.
Pinehurst, North Carolina, the site of so much golf history, and for the next 2 days, the home of the 78th Donald Ross Jr. Championship from the cradle of American golf. Hi, everybody. Welcome. It is Baby Grand's coverage, and we are kicking it off with our Good Morning from Pinehurst. Nick Gismondi, Rhea Scott, Steve Scott, and I'll keep saying this, no relation that we know of at the moment, but maybe long lost. Who knows? Good to have you all here with us on Baby Grand. A full day of coverage today and tomorrow for both rounds 1 and number 2. Guys, let's do it again. Welcome to Pinehurst. It's just a feel whenever you walk onto these hallowed grounds.
Yeah, I think Pinehurst, I really feel like Pinehurst is the American version of St. Andrews in Scotland, right? We have, this is the home of American golf right here. I mean, 1895 was when the whole resort was founded. 1900 is when they started building golf courses out here. It's just such a I don't know, I get goosebumps when I drive down and you know, between the Carolina Hotel where we're fortunate enough to stay and this beautiful resort here with all these courses overlooking the Thistledew putting course and the Cradle and Maniac Hill over there where everybody's beating balls and warming up. I mean, it's just such a cool place to be. I'm fortunate enough to live not too far away from here as well, so I get to spend a little time in Pinehurst. But thanks to you all for joining us here, for sure.
It's so vibrant, Rhea. I mean, this place just, it has that gravitas to it that Steve's talking about. I shamefully have now been here about 5 times and have yet to swing a golf club on these hallowed grounds, which I'm pretty sure is sacrilegious on some level as a golfer, but this place has that factor.
It sure does. It sure does, especially with the USGA setting up shop right there. The new Golf Hall of Fame right there as well. My children said the same thing as they were walking around the Pinehurst Village last night, Steve. They said, it does feel like St. Andrews, but in America. So totally get the same vibe. It's just, it oozes golf history, and you can absolutely feel it as you're walking around here.
So much history in this place, so many fun things to do. We talked a little bit about it, but there are 10 golf courses on this property, so it's really choose your own adventure. From a guy that hasn't yet had the opportunity to play any of them, what are some highlights? What are some favorites for you?
Well, I mean, certainly number 2. That is the crown jewel here. That's the one where all the U.S. Opens have been played. I mean, the famous shots from Payne Stewart's great putt in 1999 to Bryson DeChambeau's amazing bunker shot in 2024. I mean, Pinehurst number 2 gets all the accolades, but there are so many other great courses here. I mean, like you said, 10 courses. Actually, well, I mean, we've got number 4, number 5, number 8. And number 1 in play this week. But I really feel, I mean, number 10, I got to play the brand new number 10 just a month ago. And it was, I mean, I don't know, it blew me away. And it's about 5 minutes from where we sit right here, kind of in the sand mines area. And they've got number 11 being constructed right now. Bill Corr and Ben Crenshaw are designing that right now. I mean, there's just it's an embarrassment of riches of great golf.
You have a favorite moment here, like as a player,
Yeah,
like a good like hole in one or something.
Well, no, hole in ones. I actually was fortunate enough. I played in the 1994. Now I'm dating myself here, right? 1994 PGA Junior Championship on number 4.
Incredible.
So yeah, I finished 3rd for the week. I played with Pat Perez, who ended up winning the event. Amazing kind of experiences growing up as a junior, and thinking about all these juniors that are playing here this week and the experience that they're going to gain, and just the memories. I mean, experience and the memory. These are the little things that you remember as you age, like I am, and I guess we all are. But it's just these things that really stick in your mind that you really remember.
You'll be covering hole number 4 today, or excuse me, course number 4 today. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But Ray, I know you've spent some time here. I know this place is special to you for a lot of reasons, not only as in golf, but in life too. Maybe tell me a little bit about.
So my husband's family is around here. Drew grew up around here. We got married in Southern Pines. We had a little wedding outing on number 8. I got to play in the North and South here when I was in college, so I played on number 2 and number 8, and those courses, when you're coming from the West Coast and having to adapt to this East Coast Bermuda, it sure took my lunch money.
So you get 2 questions: best life moment here and best golf moment here in Pinehurst.
Ooh. Golf moment. I didn't have many golf highlights because, like I said, that adapting from West Coast golf to this Donald Ross challenging, grainy East Coast golf at the time was challenging for me. But I think life moments, obviously getting married around here, having our rehearsal dinner over there at the Pinecrest Inn. I mean, this place has so many memories for me and my family.
You've had some big ones. I heard rumors that maybe you're the next statue they're putting out over there with Donald and Payne, and
Not even close.
No. It's a pretty big moments for you here in Pinehurst. When you think about this golf course, you can't think about it without thinking about the legendary Donald Ross. He's obviously the namesake of this tournament. He is, one of the greatest golf course designers of all time, with over 400, including number 1 and number 2 here. Lived on this property off of hole number 3 on number 2. Just what, in your opinion, and same question to both, has the impact of Donald Ross been on golf and, of course, here on Pinehurst?
You know what I think is interesting, too, is Donald Ross moved here not as a golf course architect, but just to come and manage the property for the family that owned it, right?
Yeah.
So he came here with no real designing experience, and he used the lay of the land and the contours to really make the terrain shine on these courses. So, with over 400 courses now that he's designed all around the world, I think it's pretty spectacular, the impact that he has made.
I guess for you, impact, but also just his course design, especially on number 2. And then I do want to talk about number 1 as well, since that is in play this week.
Yeah, I think, before I get to the course design, I think Donald Ross as the man, when he came over here from Dornoch, Scotland, he grew up in Dornoch, Scotland, and kind of in the northern reaches of Scotland. Royal Dornoch was his home club. He came over here, and he only had $2 to his name when he basically invested all of his life savings to get over here to the United States. The risk that he took just to do that, he could have stayed in Scotland, and America would never have known about him. But the risk that Donald Ross took to get here, I think should be very noted. But the designs, I mean, what he learned, he was an apprentice under old Tom Morris. I mean, back then, golf professionals, they were not just the golf professional at the club. I mean, they designed the golf courses. I mean, and they made the clubs, the hickory clubs, and just all of the golf history that really he is connected with. I mean, it's immeasurable, his impact on the game of golf here.
Certainly one of his crowning features is those crown greens, especially on number 2. Again, haven't had the pleasure or the pain of playing on those, but I've heard all the stories, and I've certainly seen it firsthand many, many times here.
Yeah, there could be a lot of pain for sure. We've seen it in the U.S. Opens. There's definitely spots that you can play from around the greens, but they're inverted saucers, turtleback greens, whatever you'd like to call them. I think the term greens visited were invented right here at Pinehurst number 2, because the ball finds the green and then it repels. And we've seen it on some of many of the famous golf courses that he has built over time. Seminole down in South Florida, East Lake, home of the Tour Championship, Oak Hill up in Rochester, nameless, timeless courses, famous major championship venues that he has built. But huge tests of golf that stand the test of time today.
We talked about what courses are in play for the 78th Donald Ross Jr. Championship. Over 350 boys and girls here playing in this event, so it's getting a workout, that's for sure. It is courses 1, 4, 5, and number 8. Number 8 is a tricky one. The 15 to 18 boys will be on 8, as well as number 5. They'll flip-flop on both of these days. The girls, however, are on number 1. That is a Donald Ross signature, of course. Just thoughts on how that's going to play on the girls' side, and then we'll get into a little bit more of the details on our coverage today.
Yeah, so on the girls' side, I think one of the things that the women have to contend with, actually all players have to contend with this week, is that dormant grass. So one of the challenges there is it's tough to see the definition between the fairways and the rough. When you're choosing your targets, I think the target selection is going to be really, really important off the tee and planning on those second shots, because again, the definition just isn't there this time of year. So players had to be really, really smart on their practice rounds to then transition into these competitive rounds.
Steve, your intimate knowledge of this place, when you think about the courses that are in play, just overall, touch on all of them if you could, but specifically because of your experience on 4, maybe we'll talk about that first.
Well, number 4, it was originally laid out by Donald Ross back in 1919, but what Gil Hance has done back in 2018, the golf course was redesigned and opened. Very different, actually, than the course that I remember in 1994 playing in that PGA Junior Championship. Some of the routing is different. The holes are definitely different. There's a huge lake that kind of is the framework for the, you see it part on the front 9, and then you revisit it as you come through. The holes that I'll be covering today, holes 4 and 14, both really cool par 3s right near that big lake. The vistas are beautiful. Gil Hance has just got a ton of, we all know about his golf course acumen and his designing, but very challenging. Some very perched up greens. The green complex, you can miss in some bad spots over there and really pay the price. But it's a very challenging course. But like you said, I think the dormant grass actually can make it play even more difficult this time of year, because the ball, it wants to run faster. The greens are actually faster. They might not look nice and pretty and green with overseed,
right?
But actually, I think they play so much better. They play kind of how it was intended, and I think that's the reason.
We spent a lot of time on the golf course yesterday during the practice round, just kind of checking things out, checking some speeds as well. The greens are running great. Players really had no complaints about the condition of the golf course. I feel like that won't necessarily be a factor today for players, or even tomorrow.
I think one of the factors that's going to be in play today is the wind.
Just about to get there.
Yes. So winds are forecasted between 20, 25, gusts up to 35 miles an hour from the west. So again, really different conditions from the practice round to today, and then switching gears to tomorrow. That temperature is going to drop, what, Nick? 30 degrees?
30 degrees.
30 degrees. So lots of adapting this week for the players. Not only do they have to, keep their creative shots in their bag and on hand, but they also have to adapt to this weather.
Yeah, I will not be in a polo tomorrow. It might be full-on winter gear, and that's from a guy that currently lives in Denver and also covers hockey. So the weather is going to change, and I feel like that's been a theme for us. We kind of sort of dealt with the same thing at the Elite Invitational a few weeks ago in northern Florida, Steve.
Yeah, for sure. This time of year, I mean, the weather can be the big X factor, right? And I mean, for you, look at you. I mean, we're could be completely different. I'm kind of bundled up in a few layers.
I might have misjudged the layers.
I'm just preparing for tomorrow. That's just what I'm doing. But yeah, I think that it's definitely a factor. I mean, and this time of year, I also think that reading greens is a little bit more difficult because the sun doesn't get quite as high in the sky. The light is beautiful this time of year, but I think reading greens can be a little trickier at times as well. So combine that with the inability to maybe feel the club as well as you can as the temperatures get colder. I think there's some, this is part of the learning curve of junior golfers. They may have never played here in these type of cold conditions before. These are the things they're going to file away for future use, and we're going to see it all right here.
Let's talk about strategy for that, Rhea. Obviously, you coach college golf at Virginia, the women's team. You're in these conditions. You understand the changing. How do you coach a player to adapt to them? More clothing, can't feel your hands, a little bit uncomfortable. Maybe you're wet. Maybe it's the wind. It's all the factors sort of all at once. What is the advice that you would give to a young junior trying to figure out how to cope and handle it?
Well, first of all, I think part of our job as college coaches is to expose our players to as many of these conditions as we possibly can. And I think the college golf schedule, playing all over the country, various regions, all throughout the year, I think it lends itself to just exposing yourself to all these things. So I think in college golf, you're going to see a little bit of everything. So hopefully by the time they get here, it won't be the first time that they've experienced these things. It's taking your yardages in these varying conditions. We have so many forms of technology now that can help us get our yardages. So I feel like it's exposing them to, hey, go get your yardages when it's 40 degrees out. Go get your yardages when it's 72 out, just so that you have some gauge and have a good starting point.
Steve, this golf course, this resort in general is obviously very difficult. How more exponentially does it become difficult with the wind, more so than maybe another course?
Yeah, I think, the wind and the cold, those two things are definitely issues, but wind, I think, is probably the hardest thing. Players can play in the rain, they can play in the cold, but to have wind on top of that, you don't want all those conditions kind of throwing in there. But the wind really, because the golf ball weighs about 1.5 ounces, so it's going to get knocked around and blown around in the air. And then, combining that with colder temperatures, if you normally hit a 7-iron 170 yards or 65 yards, you're only going to hit it maybe 150 yards in conditions like this. And into the wind, it's even shorter than that. So there's a lot of calculations being thrown in there.
Baby Grant's coverage of the 78th Donald Ross Jr. Championship will continue today. Obviously, we'll be with you here for a little while longer. Our live stream coverage will pick up at 11 o'clock. We'll take that to 4 o'clock Eastern, and then we'll be back right here for you for a wrap later on, right around 5:15, depending upon how this day wraps up. We'll just want to remind you about that as we are about midway through here, our morning preview. So that is all coming up. And, of course, make sure you're staying on all of the Baby Grand socials. Set those notifications. We'll have features and updates for you, of course, throughout the entire tournament. A 350-person field, as we mentioned. Some familiar names that came over from the Elite. On the boys' side, Luke Kelty is in the mix. We'll talk about him shortly. He, of course, was in the running for the Elite and that final day, and he was part of our featured groups there. But for these kids that are coming to this, knowing that the weather's going to be this way, it's right after the holiday. What's the benefit and what maybe are they looking for? Some trying to wind down their seasons, some trying to get attention of those last colleges.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. 350 young men and women trying to play here. You have all different age groups. We have 11 and under, we have 12 to 14, and then we have 15 to 18. So people, junior golfers in all different areas of their skill development right now. And I think that's kind of a cool mix that we're going to be able to see all those players right here, and watch them learn, watch them develop, really right before our very eyes. But yes, I think some of these, some of the 15 to 18 group, I think they're going to have the, they want to certainly finish the year off. There's only just a couple more days in this 2025 schedule here, so they'd love to finish the year off. Be able to tell those college coaches, yeah, I finished, top 5 at the Donald Ross Jr. This is what I did. I won, whatever the case may be. I think that'd be a huge feather in the cap. And this tournament has so much history. The 78th playing of it, it just adds kind of that layer of importance to the event.
Rhea, I want to ask you from the coaching standpoint on the boys' side, not necessarily on the women's side, but if you put yourself in the position on the men's golf side, if you were a men's college coach, what would be the weight that you would throw on an event like this? If you're looking at maybe a kid that's on the bubble who's a 26 boy trying to make that last punch, are you looking for a number? Are you looking for resilience? Are you looking for, okay, I looked at the conditions and they were terrible and he put this number up?
I think this applies to the girls' side too,
okay,
Nick.
Yeah, sure.
For these 2026s that are on the cusp, you know this is challenging conditions out here. You know that these Pinehurst courses are going to make you hit shots, and it takes some great creativity, shot making, precision to be able to score. So I feel like, especially when somebody comes, like you said, right after Christmas, it's not peak golf season, and has the guts to come down here and compete right in the middle of the winter, I think you put a lot of stock into that and say, this person's a gamer. Whoever comes out here and wins this week, whoever puts up some good numbers, I think they're not afraid of anything. They're not afraid to compete in tough conditions, challenging courses. Come and let me shine on a big championship venue.
2 rounds in this event, Steve, obviously today and tomorrow. A course switch on the 15 to 18 boys, does that factor in at all? Because number 8 is very difficult.
It is, and for some of those who haven't played here before, they were allotted 1 practice round, so they had to choose between number 5 or number 8. So hopefully they saw the other golf course previously in their, they've got that in their back of their mind. But the conditions, like you mentioned a few moments ago with the conditions, temperature differences, wind changes. I think the wind will be down tomorrow, but the temperatures will be much colder. So I think you're going to see number 5 is an easier course than number 8 when we're going back and forth. So those who are playing number 5 today, I'm not. I think that's the one that you really want to score on. But if the wind is higher today, I mean, maybe number 8 would be the place to score today. It's going to be a very changing sort of scores. I mean, you could see a player shoot 80 today and shoot 68 tomorrow. I mean, the scores, the disparity of scores, I think you'll see that quite a bit in the scoreboard. And the fact that it's a 36-hole event, it's a very quick race too. So there's not a lot of time for messing up and then recouping some of those bogeys or doubles if you make them.
Well, Steve, I was going to say part of tournament golf is also the luck of the draw, right?
Yeah, sure.
And I mean, you've been on the good side of a draw before or a poor side, just depending on the weather. So I think this is part of it. This is a factor that all tournament golfers have to learn eventually, is sometimes you get a good side and maybe it's up to you to spin it in a way that maybe this is to my advantage. So it's going to be really interesting out there, the discrepancy.
Sort of to elaborate on that a little bit more, the variation for these players, they go from tournaments that are 3 rounds, 4 rounds, some have a cut. This is a 2-round, basically a sprint. What's the adaptability for a player in that regard? And I'll get both of your thoughts on that.
Something that we say too, and Nick, this is really interesting because last year, this was weather shortened to only 18 holes, only to 1 day. So you talk about a sprint, something that we say in college golf is because the conditions can be anything. You play as many holes as you can play to the best of your ability because you don't know when that's going to be called. So just do your best with however many holes you can.
Yeah, I think this strategy, it's an interesting strategy when you think about, okay, how aggressively do I play? Or how conservatively do I play? And I'd love to get your thoughts on this too, Rhea. But I think that when you have a shorter race, you would think, oh well, we just got to make as many birdies as we can and try. But a lot of it is bogey avoidance too. So again, with not a lot of time to recoup those mistakes with only 36 holes, it'll be very interesting to see how aggressively or conservatively these young men and women play.
Something that we say too in the college game is don't let that push for birdies turn into bogeys. Sometimes you're trying so hard to make these birdies that you push a little too hard and you force it a little too much that they turn into bogeys. So what we would say, and I think how we would approach it, is just give yourself as many birdie looks and opportunities as possible.
Nothing wrong with par.
Nothing wrong with par, absolutely.
This tournament going to be kicking off shortly. Tee times begin at 10 o'clock, 10:30, and 11. Again, sporadically across number 1, number 4, number 5, and number 8. We will have coverage for you today on course number 1, course number 4, and course number 5. We'll be on featured holes and going to get to that in just a few moments, just so you know what our coverage is going to look like. Tomorrow, however, we will be following leaders and bringing you our live stream tomorrow. Again, that is from 11 a.m. Eastern Time till 4. Make sure you join us in the morning at 8 o'clock for the pre-show. And, of course, we'll have a wrap-up as well as awards tomorrow. So, again, 2 full days of coverage as we get you set for the 78th Donald Ross Jr. Championship here at the legendary Pinehurst, of course, created in 1895. This place has so much history. I think part of the draw for some of these players to come here as well, amongst all of the other things that we said, is the opportunity to etch your name in the history and the lore of this place and get your name on one of the many plaques that adorn the famous hallowed hallways of this clubhouse here over at number 2.
I mean, you're walking around the clubhouse here, the hotel, the hallways in the hotel at the Carolina, and you can just feel the golf history. I think it's really, really special when your name is, again, etched in there next to Putter Boy and so many great names that have come before you. Absolutely. You can think about all the major champions that have won here before, too, and kind of consider yourself in that company as well.
Yeah, I think, I mean, when you walk down the hallways here, and if you haven't been to Pinehurst recently, you've got to come because they've made such a concerted effort to showcase the history that maybe 10 years ago, 5 years ago, that wasn't showcased. And I mean, you walk down the hallways and you see Payne Stewart's sleeves that he cut off in 1999, and you see the scissors that were used and that they cut off when he had that makeshift vest, rain vest, on that kind of misty day that when he won there in 1999. But yes, you feel it. You feel connected to the game when you come here, no matter if you have clubs or, in your case, Nick, like you haven't played here.
It's unbelievable.
So we're gonna have to change that. Maybe we'll at least get a little putting contest over here.
That'd
If this will do, I don't know,
great.
but we got to do something.
Should we try to hit that bunker shot that Bryson hit and see if I can't put it through the window of the clubhouse?
You might be able to do that.
Let's talk about what we're looking at today. Steve, since you have the mic in your hand still, I'll start with you. You'll be on number 4, looking at holes 4 and 14. Just sort of thoughts on that setup, specifically those holes. Obviously, one of them is a par 3.
Both of them being par 3s,
Correct.
really. So kind of right in that beautiful portion of the golf course, like I mentioned, with the expansive lake right there. I think the 14th hole is probably a more difficult of the two, although they're both pretty challenging. But yeah, I think when you have par 3 holes, it's about playing a little conservatively. Pars are great. If you averaged a 3 on every par 3 throughout your season, you would be ahead of most everybody who plays competitively. So you don't have to play super aggressively, but we're going to see some birdies. We're going to see some great stuff out there on number 4.
You'll be out on course number 1, hole number 9, a par 3. Just thoughts on that and how you feel it will play.
Yes. I mean, Donald Ross, regardless of the yardage, right? He always throws in a challenge. So I think these players have to continue to stay alert. You take no hole for granted, especially out on these Pinehurst courses. Positioning is going to be key. Again, wind direction is going to be key. So it might be swirling today, but that predominant wind is going to be from the west. And so it'll be really interesting to see just how players are managing that clubbing adjustment. And I think the wind is supposed to get stronger through the day as well. So
it is.
That'll be interesting for sure.
And that temperature will start to plummet. My fantastic crew behind me here, Brandon, who is pretty much a weatherman with me right now, has been giving me consistent updates, and that temperature will drop drastically here as we go throughout the day. That wind will pick up. I will be on course number 5, hole number 14, an easier par 3, downhill over a lake. This one should be pretty scoreable. I expect to see some birdies on that one, and I know you guys are familiar with that hole as well. But your insights on number 14 on course number 5.
I'm actually not familiar with that course as well, so I'm looking forward to seeing the coverage just to be able to get to learn a little bit more about that hole.
18 handicap for the men. It's a short one, and again, it is downhill over that lake. And understand that green is one of the more easier ones on the course.
Yeah, I mean, it plays to a nice high fade is kind of required. The green kind of sits from left to right with a bunker kind of fronting the right portion of the green there. Yeah, I think that the players are going to have some good opportunities. I mean, you have a flat lie off of a tee. So golf doesn't get any easier than that. And have at it. We're going to see some good stuff out there, and I think more importantly, we're going to showcase all of the junior golfers that are coming through, not just the players who are leading. The shotgun start is going to be able to showcase all these players as they come through on all these courses. So we're going to see a plethora of players out there today. It's going to be cool.
Yeah, very excited for our coverage. Again, that begins at 11 a.m. on both days, today and tomorrow. You can catch us here again tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. to get you caught up on what happened today on round 1 and preview that final round, and then be back with us here this evening right around 5 o'clock. Maybe we get a fire pit for tonight because I think it's going to be a drastically different weather day than it will be this evening.
Yeah, bring the s'mores. Let's go.
Oh, that's actually not a bad idea. There are some very nice fire pits. If you've never been here, the Cradle sits right behind us, and the Cradle Crossing is maybe one of the best halfway houses in all of golf. And there are fire pits adorning that. Of course, we'll probably be here, but we'll probably be bundled up a little bit more. Any thoughts before we kick off this 78 Donald Ross Junior Championship?
Can I just give a shout out to the Carolina Hotel?
Gorgeous.
There's so many great properties here. I had the best buffet breakfast this morning, number one. I mean, I'm going to be full all day. But number 2, and even more importantly, in 3 days, on January 1st, 2026, they're going to celebrate the 125-year anniversary from when they opened their doors on the very first day of the 20th century. So, I mean, 125 years ago, I mean, that's obviously that's a tremendously long time ago, but it just gives credence and substance to the fact that Pinehurst is going to be here for the next 3, 4, 10 generations of people, and I think it's so cool to be able to kind of walk in the footsteps. You can almost kind of feel the ghost, so to speak, of yesteryear here. But they've remodeled the hotel so beautifully, and I don't know. I love it. I might just take up residence here.
Just stay right here. Just stay right here. Of course, the folks here at Pinehurst have been absolutely wonderful. Our hats go off to all of them. The Carolina has been incredibly accommodating, and a big shout out to tournament director Nolan Miller. He's not only been a staple here for quite a long time, but a good friend to us at Baby Grand and to me personally. Big thanks to him for having us and for putting this on and for doing such a great job. Big thanks to my crew who are behind the camera sitting very cold, to Stan and Brandon. Stan will be with me all day on the golf course, so we'll bundle up. Maybe we'll cuddle a little, Stan. We'll see. That's going to do it for our morning show right now. We are going to take a break and get you all set for the live stream. Again, make sure you come back and join us. That starts at 11 o'clock. They'll have those notifications set on Instagram so that you can catch all of our coverage. We'll have stories and highlights and features as well, not only throughout the broadcast, but we'll have those up on Instagram after they air on the show today. That coverage, again, begins at 11 a.m. We'll have a recap for you again here right around 5 and 5:15. We will see you back here right on the same link at 11 o'clock for our first round coverage of the 78th Donald Ross Junior Championship. For Steve Scott, Rhea Scott, our entire crew, I'm Nick Gismondi. We'll see you in a little bit.